So I want to give you a little bit of a breakdown as to how masks work. Now this is using Lightroom Mobile, so this is on the tablet, but if you were using it on your phone, it pretty much looks a very similar way. But in respects to masks, they are effectively selection areas. So what you see here, anything that is dark, anything that goes red in that instance there, that is an area that we've selected. Now we've selected by a number of different ways. Now this is selecting by subject, which basically means the Lightroom software identifies what it believes is the main subject in the shot. Now it may not always be what you want it to be, so you can go through and either add elements to it or you could subtract parts to it as well, and using this little menu system at the side. But it's done a pretty good job. A lot of AI runs most of this system, and in most of the time it does a good job. And so what it means is, say, now that we can select something specific. In this instance, I've inverted the mask that we had, so it was selecting everything but our subject, and it was just then selecting therefore the background, and we can switch that forwards and backwards as many times as we want. And anything that we do, that whether we change exposure, whether we brighten up the shadows, whether we change the colors, it's only going to happen to that one particular area that we've masked. So everything that you saw that was red before when we made that selection, that is basically going to be editable. Now we can add to that, we can tweak that, because sometimes the AI isn't perfect and it doesn't have a really good mask outline. Fortunately here with this flower, it's got a fairly clear outline against the background, so it's not done too bad a job, but we can add more to it if we wanted to make more of the background brighter and actually use some of the changes that we've made on the flower and also apply those exact same parameters to the background. We can do that by using a brush, and we can add more to it. But as you can see, there's more types of masks that we can have. The brush is the most manual one, and it's great for fine-tuning selections. So you can literally just draw it like a paintbrush over your picture, and then any edits that you do are applied exactly to that area. So whether we want to brighten up a part of an image or darken it, or as I say, change the color, we can do. If you add in something by accident, you can then subtract from the mask, so take elements away by using another brush, and that just fine-tunes it again a bit further. Another type of brush is a linear gradient. Now this is effectively drawing a line across your image, whether it comes in horizontally, vertically, diagonal, and then it allows you to grade in any changes. So you can change the exposure on your image, and again, depending upon where the actual gradient is, it just gives you this nice soft transition from light to dark. It can also be a case that you're darkening the highlights, you're maybe changing the color in a certain area, but the mask itself is more just the metric that's used to position where those changes are going to be. You've got three bars. One is the absolute maximum and one's the minimum, and obviously in between there depends how much of a transition of your effect is showing on the shot. You can use the little kind of three blue bars in the middle to position the middle of your gradient, and then you can actually spin it around using the thick bar in the middle. So if you wanted to position it in the bottom corner and then move it outwards, you can do. So let me show you another gradient. This is the radial one. So whereas the linear one was working with straight lines before, the radial, as you see on screen, is basically a circle that's in the center. So you can think of it as an orb that you can move around by pressing the blue dot in the middle. You can move it around to anywhere that you want. So you can create a sense of a light source, or you can brighten someone's face in particular. You can stretch it out to make it more of an ellipses. So if you wanted to have light that was very narrow, as if it was coming from maybe through a doorway, etc. Again, all these options are possible. They can be stretched horizontally. It can go vertically too. Now, another option is to select parts of your image based upon the color. So instantly you get this little crosshair which you can move all around your shot, and it's picking up the color values in that particular area in the center of the selection, and then it selects all the corresponding colors in the rest of your scene. So if it was just the purpley colors and we were hanging it over our flower here, it's just going to select all those purple tones that are very similar in the whole shot, and therefore that's red, and then we can go on to edit it. But we can refine it using this slider. So if we wanted to make the selection of that kind of purple much narrower and very much keep it to the individual colors that are in that shot and that one specific tone of purple, then we can refine it, or we can open it up a little bit more. So this is really good if you wanted to change the color of one specific element in your shot. And the last is a luminance range. Now, this is being able to select a particular area of your image based upon the luminance. So whether that's dark, whether that's a mid-tone grey or a mid-tone colour, or then the brighter areas. Now, you do have a slightly different bar here that you can see. We can move it from the darker areas, we can open up to the lighter areas. And again, we can have a transition by pulling these handles. Now, this selects everything, but if you push it more to the right-hand side, this is just selecting the brightest part of our shots. As we move it a bit more back towards the left, you can see how much more of the image is being selected, which we can then go on to mask. If we take it from the left, take it from the right and move it left, we're now just selecting the darker areas of our shot. So it's got nothing to do with color, it's just about the tonal value or the brightness of parts of your shot. So this could be quite useful if you're selecting an area of your sky or anything like that. You've got dedicated options for selecting just particular areas based upon the luminance. But I hope that gives you a little bit more understanding as to how to use masks when it comes to Lightroom.